What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified, WBA, WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top two, if not number one, definitely top five best pound for pound fighters in the world, and Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no losses, no draw. 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Errol Spence's biggest rival in undefeated, three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number one best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Crawford. 38 wins, no losses, no draw. 29 big, 30, He is now 39 big wins. 30 big wins by way of knockout, okay? He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, because he fought last night and he got a 6-round brutal knockout victory over welterweight title contender, Armenian Russian star boxer David AVANESYAN in the 6th round. So Terence Crawford is now 39 wins, no losses, no draw. He is 30 wins by way of knockout. So with that said, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, they make for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing currently today as it stands for undisputed, okay? Now, everybody expected to see Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence this year, but it couldn't get done for this year, okay? And so now the target now is 2023, next year. It has been reported that Errol Spence is going to possibly face off against former unified welterweight world champion, superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who is 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. He is 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach. Well, Errol Spence has other plans. Now, we know Errol Spence, he has no interest in fighting Keith Thurman. The powers that be are pushing Keith Thurman fight on Errol Spence. Even the WBC, World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, board of 32 members, they have ordered Errol Spence to face off against Keith Thurman in his next fight, right? Well, Errol Spence, he has other plans. And so Errol Spence, he put up a post and he created new merch with him calling out Terence Crawford. After Terence Crawford brutally knocks out David AVANESYAN, it all makes sense. So now he puts up new merch with the Grin Reaper. Now, he initially had the merch that was the Grin Reaper as the big fish knocking on Kell Brook's door for the IBF title, his first title opportunity back in May of 2017. Then he had knocking on Sean Porter's door, the unification bout in 2019. And then he had the Yordenis Ugas door being knocked on, which he fought April 16th of this year. And then he had the Grin Reaper knocking on Terence Crawford door with the door closed. The other doors had the belts hanging on the doors. He already collected them. Well, now he revamped it after Terence Crawford is going into this fight with David AVANESYAN, and he has the door open, and with him calling Terence Crawford, and Terence Crawford is not responding, right? And so he's saying, essentially, let's negotiate. Let's make it happen, okay? So it looks like Errol Spence is not interested in a fight. We already knew he wasn't very interested with a fight with Keith Thurman. But it also looks like Errol Spence may just very well bypass the Keith Thurman fight and go right back into negotiations with Terence Crawford, okay? Terence Crawford, he signed with myself and my partners at BOK Prime, and he had to fight with David AVANESYAN on BOK Prime to kick off BOK Prime. It was a one-fight deal, okay? So Terence Crawford, once again, is a network promotional free agent, okay? So Terence Crawford, he's 35. He wants to have this Errol Spence fight as soon as possible. Then he stated that he eventually wants to go up to 154. Should he be victorious? He expects to be victorious, but should he be victorious against Errol Spence, he wants to go to 154 and challenge the 3-time junior middleweight now undisputed junior middleweight world champion superstar boxer, and Jamel Lyons Only Charlo, who is a close friend of Errol Spence Jr., right? So essentially, Terence Crawford has 2 fights left, right? Which is Errol Spence and Jamel Charlo. He's victorious in both those fights. Terence Crawford is going to call it a career, period. Okay? A lot of people gave Terence Crawford a lot of flack for fighting Dave AVANESYAN opposed to just waiting for Errol Spence. There's even reports that, Terence Crawford was asked, well, what about the fight? If the fight would have took place in January, would you have waited? And Terence Crawford said no. He wanted to get a fight in this calendar year, okay? He wanted to feed his family this calendar year, right? He didn't want to wait. So people make a lot, well, it was just a month away. Well, he wanted to fight this calendar year, okay? And now he's looking to fight Errol Spence, right? A lot of people are making a lot of the fact that after the fight, he was asked, what's next? Is the Errol Spence fight going to be next? And, he said, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. And, if it presents itself, so on and so forth, right? And so people gave him a lot of flack for that. Terence Crawford is not calling out Errol Spence. Well, at this point in time, it's the obvious, right? Does he really need to stand on that podium at this time now and call out Errol Spence at this stage? It's not even necessary. We all know, they know, he knows, the whole world knows what's expected to happen next. Period. Okay. And so with that said, I do for one believe that it's going to happen soon. Is it going to happen next? Now, Keith Thurman is the mandatory. Is Errol Spence going to be able to bypass Keith Thurman? Because let's say Errol Spence says, you know what, I'm just going to wait for Terence Crawford. Well, Terence Crawford, they could begin negotiations now, and they could fight in March, right? They begin, today is only the 11th, okay? So they could fight in March. They begin negotiations now. They could fight in March. Then there's no need for Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman or whomever else is a possibility. And they could go right head into a fight against each other in March or April. Which now you look at it from this standpoint. If people said, well, why didn't Terence Crawford just wait until January to fight Errol Spence opposed to fighting AVANESYAN December 10th? Well, then what difference does it make if he fights? Because the initial paperwork that was put out was that they were looking for a fight February of 2023, right? Whoever represents Errol Spence put out a tweet, and they stated that we was negotiating for a 2023 showdown, which was told that it would have been February. So now, instead of it being February, why doesn't it just be March? That's just 1 month off of their initial target date. Terence Crawford didn't take punishment against David AVANESYAN. He brutally knocked him out in the 6th round. So they can, and it's the beginning of December, right? So they can re-enter negotiations and pick up where they left off right now, right? To stage the fight in March. Now, obviously, Terence Crawford is not going to fight in February, right? 2 months from now. But he could fight 3 months from now or 3.5 months from now in March, the middle of March, right? Then what has changed? Nothing. So instead of it happening in February, it just happens a month later in March. Just like people are complaining that if he's going to fight in December, he could have waited to January. Well, if it wasn't going to happen in February, then we could wait till it happens in March. You see how that works? So, and they already have the foundation of the negotiations because not much has changed because, again, Terence Crawford is not locked in with BLK Prime and us. We would like him to be and then be a part of it, but he's not locked in with BLK Prime. He's a network promotional free agent. So they can pick up the foundation of the negotiations right from where they left off. If what everybody said that they made the adjustments and they're going to fulfill his obligations and his demands and what he wanted, right? then if that to be the case, well, then it's nothing to negotiate. Now Terence Crawford could go ahead, if they stated that they have everything in place that he wanted, well, now they could go ahead and lock it in and make it happen in March. It should be even easier right now to make it happen this time, because you know what he's looking for. You know what Errol Spence is looking for. They have a new budget, so it should very well be easy to just go ahead. The foundation's already there, right? Now the date has passed, him already fighting. So now all you have to do is just go ahead and sign everybody, because everything is there. Just change the date, contact the venue, and then get it signed. It should be easy now. There should be no games. There should be no hurdles to be leaped. Nothing. It should just be simple. And then we don't have to see Errol Spence either doesn't even have to worry about a fight with Keith Thurman. Just go right into the fight now with Terence Crawford. So let's see how this plays out and unfolds. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.